Hi, everybody. This is Brian McIntyre. Guy living in long-term recovery because of a 12-step program called Alcoholics Anonymous. If you've never heard of it, it's sometimes called AA. And today's daily reflection reading got my attention around 5:45 this morning, and it's about self-honesty. And the deception of others is nearly always rooted in the deception of ourselves. When we are honest with another person, it confirms that we have been honest with ourselves and with God. Now that can be found in as Bill sees it on page 17. Now it goes on further to say, when I was drinking, I deceived myself about reality, rewriting it to what I wanted it to be. Deceiving others is a character defect, even if it is just stretching the truth a bit or cleaning up my motives so others would think well of me. My higher power can remove this character defect, but first I have to help myself become willing to receive that help by not practicing deception. I need to remember each day that deceiving myself about myself is setting myself up for failure or disappointment in life, and in Alcoholics Anonymous, failure as well. A close, honest relationship with a higher power is the only solid foundation I found for honesty with self and with others. You know, in parts of the book, it talks about pruning, root by root, branch by branch, and as you read through these various readings, you know, here this reading talks about character defects. Well, one of the steps is having God remove our character defects, because we sure as heck couldn't remove them ourselves. At least this guy couldn't remove himself. You know, one thing, again, I'll reiterate, I thought some of my defects were virtues, so I didn't want to let go of them. They were such a close part of me. However, today, I can admit my errors. Most all the time. I had one right off the bat this morning. I had appointments with two folks on a individual basis with the social distancing, as they needed some things done for the courts, and they weren't sure what's going to be postponed, what's going to be this and that, what have you. So I made an appointment to be here at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going through Grand Ridge on Route 23, and I realized, oh my God, I don't have my keys. Now I got a decision to make. Do I turn around and go back and, wait a minute. I locked them in the office after I left yesterday, because I left right after I did my little sharing. But I had resources. I got into the solution. I I texted, well, voice text. I pull over the side of the road. I don't want to have a problem with a ticket holding a phone in my hand. So I pull over the side of the road, and I texted a colleague that has a electric key to my office. I texted another colleague I had, and then I also sent a text to the custodian of the building. So I had 3 answers to my problem, but you know what? None of them got back to me right away, and I was really frustrated. And I'm thinking, like, those folks just need to be awake, waiting for my text. Don't they know who I am? Well, that lasted a little while. I got back on the road, and I said, oh, well, it's going to be in God's time, not my time. It's never in my time. And so lo and behold, the one fellow came up and he got me in, but oh, now I don't have a key to my office, but I can get into our group room. You see, when I started out here 5 years ago, I only had 2 rooms, and then we expanded where I needed an office, a business office, and I also needed a group room, and then we needed a separate assessment room. Because now we got to deal with all the HIPAA laws and privacy rights and all that kind of stuff, which is all legitimate, and it's good because it protects the anonymity of our clients. And to that I am thoroughly committed. And as long as I stay in that mindset, I also find it quite easy to have unconditional acceptance of myself and others as they are. So I try to meet people where they're at and make them feel comfortable in this environment to get them through what they need to get through. So I was able to get into my group room and dealt with the first client. That turned out to be a successful finding. Then I got a couple of other calls, and so now I'm winding down at the end of the day. It's about 1:35 in the afternoon, and I'm kind of running out of steam. But I made a commitment to my wife that we might maybe take a ride and wave at her mother and father, who were up in DeKalb County. So we just might do that because my wife is she has stayed true and steady to the demands and the suggestions of our legislative and elected officials, and so she's quarantined. And but boy, she's got a lot done. I've got a lot done. We had a storeroom; we couldn't kick your way in or out of it. Well, now I can see the floor. Holy smoke! I can think that's progress. So I try to work with progress, not perfection, because I'm far from perfection. But I've learned how to laugh at myself, and that takes the pressure off everybody else that I used to laugh at. And because I would want to make less than people for a long, long time, so that I could kind of maybe laud one over on you. Well, I can't do that today. Not staying with the 12-step program anyway, because that guilt after a while, man, I don't want that guilt anymore. And a little tip though, when I began to value another person's sobriety almost as much as my own, then a different respect aspect came to it. I was able to connect at a different level. You know, I had a call from a friend in Florida that's going to be coming up here in June, and she wanted to be of use and of value when she came up here. And I said, I think we can do something. You know, I've had people call me that were seeking some input with loved ones. And if anybody out there is seeking input, because I am a resource person, you can always call me at 815-220-0299. I've gotten a few answers back on Watch Party, and so I do reply to any comments that you would make with to our little get together here today. So I'm going to get on the road, going to head north, and we'll be talking to you soon, maybe even tomorrow after church. Catch up with you later. Bye-bye now.